You are listening to Zimbabwe News. Keep listening to Zimbabwe News.
Morning and welcome to Early Morning News. In our headlining story this morning, July has so far proved to be the deadliest month for Zimbabwe since the first COVID-19 case was recorded in March last year, with over 1,700 people succumbing to the deadly virus in the 31 days of July. Let's get more details on that story.
The month of July alone has been deadlier than the combined toll from March 2020 to June 2021. According to latest official data, almost half of the cumulative cases and deaths were recorded in the just ended month alone, representing over 58% of the total COVID-19 cases. July started with 51,221 cases and ended at an alarming 108,860 cases, translating to 57,639 new infections in the 31 days of July alone. As of March this year, over 700 cases and 55 new deaths were recorded, while in April more than 1,361 new cases and 44 deaths were recorded, with May accounting at least 700 new cases and 26 deaths, while June recorded over 10,000 new cases and 190 deaths. Yet July saw a sharp surge in new cases to over 108,000 and more than 1,700 deaths. Zimbabwe is battling a third wave of COVID-19 infections and deaths related to the respiratory ailment, with the high figures being attributed to the highly contagious Delta variant. Government has already put in place several measures to contain the spread of the disease by declaring some areas as hotspots, as well as putting the country under a level 4 lockdown where public gatherings have been banned. Government has also procured more than 6 million COVID-19 vaccines in an effort to curb the fatality rate. To date, over 1.6 million people have received the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
Look at our next story. Government's devolution program has brought smiles to villagers in the Seke communal area who had been struggling to complete a clinic whose construction started in 2018.
Of Bwani village in Seke district had been struggling to complete a clinic project whose construction commenced in 2018 due to financial constraints. However, the script changed when government's devolution program reached the area, bringing smiles to the villagers in Manyame Road District Council's Ward 3. The villagers are grateful to government and the local authority for coming to their rescue.
Iye zvinhu pakatoya mapango erufu zvese zvapo ene mabuilder tine mabuilders akabvawo kuprison ukatibatsira saka chipatara chedu chiri kuenda kumberi chiri kufamba zvakanaka. Mavillagers wari kutipa ivhu netractor tichitakura netractor kubva kucancel.
Manyame Road District Council has so far allocated 2.5 million Zimbabwe dollars towards construction of the health facility.
Tinoda kutenda even mukuru wenyika nechirongwa chaakaunza chedevolution ichochi chasumudzira nharaunda dzedu zvakanaka. Tinoona marodzi edu ari kugadzirwa, makliniki waya sezva muri kuona ipo panapa kliniki iri kuvapa. 3 other clinics in Ward 6, 9 and 15 are being constructed using devolution funds to the tune of 8 million Zimbabwe dollars. Gerald Sasa, ZBC News, Seke.
The government has identified the media as key in promoting the country's successful agricultural story, as evidenced by the bumper harvest achieved during the 2020-21 summer cropping season. Let's get more details on that story.
Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services Minister Senator Monica Mutsvangwa, who was the guest of honor at the virtually held Zimbabwe Agriculture Media Awards this Friday, said agriculture, being the mainstay of the economy, provides an opportunity for journalists to scrutinize the sector's performance.
Despite the limitations imposed by COVID-19, 2021 is therefore a memorable year for the Zama Awards. It's a year which has underlined Zimbabwe's ability to galvanize its potential to produce maximally in excess of local food requirement. In the process of that success, we have created a narrative that has restored our status as the breadbasket of Southern Africa. The story of a successful season needs to be followed from the planning, input logistics, planting, weeding, harvesting, and marketing stages. In this regard, it is gratifying that our journalists have fervently and ably followed the agricultural story, articulating and reporting on the threats to a good agricultural season and what needed to be done to achieve the bumper harvest that has been attained.
Deputy Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Settlement, Honorable Douglas Karoro, spoke about the importance of the media in the farming sector.
From an agricultural perspective, journalists need to disseminate critical information on issues such as government programs, pest and disease outbreaks, and other challenges faced by farmers. The media is thus an important stakeholder in the agricultural journey, which is from seed to harvest.
Zimbabwe Agriculture Society Chairman Mr. Ngoni Kudenga highlighted that the awards will continue to be held annually.
A special commendation goes to the media for a job well done and for reporting on a sector that anchors developmental prospects for the country.
ZBC journalists scoped the awards at the virtually held Zimbabwe Agriculture Media Awards with Mashonaland Central Beru Chief Tapiwa Machemeze scooping the oil seeds and horticulture sector-based reporter award, while ZBC Midlands reporter Mtokozi Zitobe won the small grains sector-based reporter award. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
The passion for growing fruit trees has been seen by an elderly Highfield man for building a legacy for himself, to the community and the nation at large. Let's get more on that story.
On a normal Sunday afternoon, when most of his age mates are relaxed at home, 58-year-old Anderson Kapondo is busy tending to a nursery with thousands of fruit trees. Inspired by his father who had a penchant for trees, the community botanist transformed the old Mbizi market shed into a thriving fruit tree nursery where one can find muyu, mugwava, avocado, grenadilla, pawpaw, palm, apple and macadamia.
Bean, chinhu chakanaka. Bean rabva mumba. Makazoenda kurirasa. Mukurirasa raora, asi rakaraswa riri fresh. Mune utano, mune upfumi. Saka policy yangu imi muchirasa, ini ndichinonga. Ndokuita kuti the environment yekuti ndingakwanisa kuita sei kuti ndidyare miti. Ndokuona kuti recycling chinhu chinokosha. Unotora chinhu chauda kushandisa kubin, woya woita zvaunoita. So ndakatsvaga seed rangu. Iko kunorasirwa ikoko. Ndoitsvaga chicontainer chesuper. Ndinotora seed riya, ndotsvaga ivhu rangu, compost ndinayo, ndopeka zvobuda.
For the past 37 years, Kapondre has been churning out fruit trees to Highfield residents and far beyond, to an extent that a well-wisher fixed a bowl nearby for water supply.
Since ndane nguva ndiri pano, ndakatanga 83, 84, miti yakawanda yemuHighfields iri kubva pano paMbizi market. Ndotoona maorders kubva kuBorodale, Warren Park, Ziwarasekwa, kuzhinji kuri kuwakwa muHarare, miti iri kutorwa bani.
The existence of trees has over the years proved to be of utmost value for human survival, including environmental and health benefits. First as Mkungurutse, ZBC News, Harare.
The liberation struggle was full of challenging situations, with huge setbacks being largely overcome by unity of purpose, strong conviction and determination exhibited by our freedom fighters. Let's get more details on this story.
The history of the liberation struggle is testimony that a people's revolution withstands reactionary forces. According to freedom fighter Comrade Willard Machiwenyika, who joined the liberation struggle in 1975, the three rebellions during the Second Chimurenga, which included the Bazanari, Vashandi and Wampuwe rebellions, were thwarted by unity of purpose and ideological standing. Comrade Machiwenyika narrates incidents where leaders of the revolution, including the late national hero, Comrade Josiah Magamatongo Gara, escaped death by a whisker following a plot to derail the liberation struggle.
Meetings are held in Darwin, not Darwin, but with Nanabaza. So I touched him and let us put the house in order. So all those who are not on the side of Baza and Nari, they are called rebels and they are killed. Some were even arrested. Also arrested because some of them in Sana and Mazoni she's still alive. They are some Sungram Daratango Garam, which from Bopassi Banana Baza. Chidakurai to Vazuatis also like that.
Freedom fighter Comrade Tinaich Gudu, who was among early cadres from the Zebra side to join the liberation struggle, recounts the challenging and life-threatening situations he went through, giving credit to strong political orientation.
On the 16th of May, 1965 is the date that I was captured. And when I was captured, I underwent very severe torture. All sorts of things, put plastic bags and so on. Right now, I'm a little bit hard of hearing because my ear burst when a plastic bag had been put over my neck and my head, and I couldn't breathe straight, so that caused the break here. But nobody took any trouble to ensure that, in fact, I was getting any treatment.
An academic, Mrs. Edith Mkwapasi says the common vision and unit of purpose exhibited by first and second Chimurenga heroes provides strong lessons for the present generation to achieve Vision 2030 and champion an economic revolution.
Production must be informed by an ideology, because without ideology we are not going to have a common belief, common value system which will guide and which has guided our country even before the second Chimurenga. We have seen that the second Chimurenga was only possible because of the common ideology and common philosophy that united people from all across Zimbabwe to have one cause and fight for the liberation of this country, which was achieved.
With the nation celebrating its heroes and heroines who sacrificed their lives to liberate motherland this month, their journey to freedom should inspire present and future generations to persevere in the face of challenges, knowing that there is no night so long that it does not end with dawn. Kenya Sifuje, ZBC News, Mutare.
Story, of course, that brings us to the end of our early morning news. They're acknowledging the role and function that was played by our liberation fighters, and also appreciating the paratroopers. They jumping out of an airplane, engaging into battle must be quite an experience.
Absolutely, and also a big shout out to the helicopter pilots there.
Yes,
because you can imagine you're taking heavy fire and you're still trying to navigate a whole big machine, a whole big bird in the sky.
Most definitely.
Well, kudos to them there. All right, so that's all we had for you in terms of early morning news. Time for us to take a look at what's in there in the press, and as always, we do implore you, please go out and buy the actual newspapers. This is just a little Zwisanje, just the headlines for you just to see what's happening in our local press. Press preview coming up next. All right, so it's time for a press review, and we'll be starting with the Newsday.
Yes.
All right, so what we have in the Newsday this morning, the headline reads, Varun enjoys business boom. A beverages producer, Varun Beverages, says there is good demand for its products, including the newly launched Aqua Clear bottled water, due to its world-class quality and low price. Varun Beverages is the second largest franchise bottler of PepsiCo, with a presence in many Asian and African countries, including Zimbabwe.
Most definitely there, and extending further, still within the Newsday, headliner reads, a company's a net $11 billion in road deals. Story by Ashame Makoshori. Now, Zimbabwe's under fire construction industry has earned $10.7 billion through state-funded road rehabilitation and expansion projects since January, giving the sector a respite after battling the forestall possibility of a bankruptcy. Now, the construction drought had created a corporate graveyards in the past decade as a result of capital flight precipitated by economic mismanagement and investor fatigue, inducing harsh policies. Now, these have turned Zimbabwe into a risky destination for international capital. Now, I'm going to give you the next story, also still in the Newsday. A headliner reads, houses built on a sewer line cost council $60,000. Story by Tafadzwa Kachiko. Now, 11 houses built on the top of a main sewer trunk line at Key College in Unit K, Chitungwiza, will cost the municipality $60,000 to divert the line for a distance measuring 365 meters. The houses were illegally built on a college stand that allegedly belongs to an ex-soldier identified as Mike Makuchete. The college was allegedly converted to residential stands without following due procedure. Council spokesperson Love More Mayor yesterday told the Newsday that the houses caused perennial sewage problems in the dormitory town. Now I'm going to move on to Zaza's favorite paper, Umtunywa.
Absolutely, I absolutely love Umtunywa. So for those of you who are Umtunywa fans, this is the paper for you. All right, the headline reads, Uphilosoph uthengisa inkomo nge-3 million ukufuya kule mali. Hey, all right, uPaul Philosoph owaziwayo eyingcithi kwezokufuya kwenkomo wenze imbali ngokuthengisa inkunzi ngemali ebiza $3.6 million kumbuthano we-National Bull Sale Mount Hampton ngolesithathu basele belombuzo abafuyi benkomo labathengi ukuthi wenza njani uphilosofu lakathesi ukuthengiswa kwenkunzi le kuphethwe emlonyeni yabanengi lasemhlobulweni weMatabeleland lapho okwaziwa ukuthi kufuywa inkomo zoqobo. All right, just to quickly translate that for those of you who may not understand Ndebele. All right, there is a farmer who's known as Mr. Paul Philosopher who sold his bull for $3.6 million. Now, traditionally, Matabeleland is the one that's is the area, the region in Zimbabwe, which is known for getting high prices for such kind of cattle or these kind of breeds. But for the first time, we've got a farmer from the northern region of Zimbabwe beating everyone into a record sale there of $3.6 million, and everyone is asking themselves, how did it do it?
Buru buru.
Buru buru, yes. All right, so that's the first story from Umtunya. The next one has the headline, Induna Umagama isekela ukujujwa kwe-COVID-19. Induna Umagama yasecholotsho eMatabeleland North usezinikela ukuthi alwisane legcikwane le-COVID-19 ukuze lingabhidlizi isigaba sakhe. Inkokheli yomdabu isithole ukunconywa yizakhamuzi endaweni ezithile echolotsho ngemva kokubonakala encedisa izisebenzi zikahulumende ekuthuthukiseni abantu ukuthi bahlabe ijekiseni yokuvikela i-COVID-19. Induna Umagama kubikwa ayihlali phansi ibhoda labezempilakahle esigabeni sakhe. Inkuthazo yenduna uMagaba ize ngesikhathi abahlali becholotsho bonke jikelele beqhiqa isililo ngokukhothama kwenduna uMahlathini. All right, now that particular story, we have Chief Magama in Cholocho in Matabeleland North who has dedicated himself to making sure that the cause of getting everyone vaccinated in this area, he's actually running with that, and his residents in that particular area are really singing his praises at such a time, saying that I think that they are really proud of their chief who's really running around. And unfortunately, one of the chiefs also in that area, Chief Mahlathini, who passed away. So I think there's a whole lot of, everyone is just running around and just making sure that people really do get vaccinated. And well done there to Chief Magama in Cholocho.
Definitely, I couldn't reiterate how much more important it is to take your vaccinations during this particular period, as we've noticed a very significant increase in COVID cases during the month of July. I think it's almost gone up to 1,000 plus just within the month of July.
Exactly.
So then now moving on, we're going to be getting into our weekend review. It was a top time over the weekend, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, you know what? Let me just say, the weekend review was mixed, both good and bad news. And so the opening story that we have is actually a very sad story. We'll be talking about veteran broadcaster Sam Kitiga. Now, veteran broadcaster Sam Kitiga, who succumbed to COVID-19 related complications on Friday, has been described as a mentor, father and visionary in the media fraternity. Now, he was popularly known as Boko, as he was affectionately known by many. He started broadcasting before independence under Radio Mtwagazi and later joined Rhodesia Broadcasting Services, now ZBC, in 1979, and rose to become a manager radio services, a position he held until he left the national broadcaster in 2015. Colleagues who worked with him at the national broadcaster say his works will forever be inscribed in broadcasting sector. Fellow veteran broadcaster Nonqeba Mkandla reflects on the days they worked together on Radio 2, now Radio Zimbabwe. Journalists who passed through the hands of Ubaba Kitiga have described him as a perfectionist. He presented various programs, including Ubingelelana Kwaziso, Yazi Nimteto, Radio Doctor, and his Hlahla Zagiti. Outside the studio, Mkitiga was also known as a community champion. He's survived by his wife Grace, 5 children, and 8 grandchildren. We say Lala Ngobutula Baba Mkitiga.
Definitely our condolences going to him and his family. Now, extending further there, more stories in our weekend review. South African-based Zimbabwean songstress Berita Kumalo has won herself a South African Music Award, that being a summer. She was nominated in the Rest of Africa Award category for her album Songs in the Key of Love, alongside her fellow Zimbabwean chanter Buffalo Soldier, Davido, Wizkid, and Sauti Sol. Now, speaking about her nomination, Berita tweeted saying, "Being a non-South African resident, this is the first time that I am nominated for a summer, and this is the only category that I am eligible for. This nomination is a gentle reminder to me that the mission is bigger. The rest of Africa and the world is waiting." Berita was recently appointed as one of the newest board members for the recording industry of South South Africa, that being RISA. Well done to you there, Berita. Congratulations.
Absolutely. She's doing us proud.
Maku.
And flying at the national flag. Maku. All right. We now move on to a story of one of our local guys. Like I did mention, we did greet him in the morning.
Yeah.
This is Plot Marco. She's joining us from Germany, a Zimbabwean creative, social entrepreneur, dancer, promoter, and arts journalist based in Germany. Has launched Kombi Station, mostly known for being the founder of Jibiliga Dance Trust, which he founded in 2007, and being named one of the top creatives from Zimbabwe by Glamour South Africa magazine. GMZ caught up with Plot to learn more about his venture. Let's hear from Plot.
Marco, I'm a content creator. I'm also the creative director behind Jibiliga as well. Good morning, Zaza and Farah. Thank you so much for inviting me to be on Zimbabwe's Prime TV morning show. Good morning, Zimbabwe. And also thank you for this opportunity, and good morning to the viewers. My name is Plot Marco. I'm a content creator. I'm also the creative director behind Jibiliga as well as EA Ground. I'm super excited because I got listed as one of the 10 creators from Zimbabwe to look out for by South Africa's GQ magazine. And this comes at a time when we just initiated a new initiative called the Kombi Station. This is your mobile media platform that seeks to amplify the voices of creators from different communities, amazing creators that Zimbabwe has, whose works and voice needs to be amplified, and Earground is simply doing that. So the Kombi Station is derived from our daily Kombi, the Mshika, like the real Zimbabwean Kombi, a Kombi that has for years played a very key role in terms of distributing and promoting the creative arts without people even noticing. A lot of musicians and artists have benefited from the role that the Kombi driver and the Kombi conductor have played in actually getting the music to the people, playing your favorite music on radio. And out of that, I then came up with the idea to develop a platform similar to what the Kombis were doing, but now specifically focusing on giving artists that opportunity to be heard, not only in Zimbabwe, but also globally, because now, because of the digital advent, we are able to speak to the rest of the world through the online platforms. And we do this in a very COVID-friendly environment, make sure that everything is safe, people are wearing masks and it's sanitized, and I'm so happy because we're getting to see a lot of untapped talent from across Zimbabwe, and the stories will be heard globally. Thank you so much.
Is there to Plot Marco. That looks very exciting. Can't wait to see those episodes coming out.
Definitely looking forward to those. Now, still